Hi guys, welcome to HighLevel Techie, and this is Jitin here, and today I'm going to show you how you can use custom actions inside your voice AI, and I'm also going to show you some tips and tricks. So let's get started. First of all, what we are going to talk about today is how to use a custom field inside your prompt. So here I have a sample prompt and everything is very simple. I only have these 4 lines of prompt in here. The first one is greet the user with contact name. And if it's empty, use Superman immediately as you start the call. So if you're wondering why Superman or some weird keywords, because if the AI is going to say that specific keyword, then we know that it is actually working. So that's why we put some interesting keywords in there so that we can test it out. And the next line is tell them the current date is this. And then we ask the AI to wait for them to speak. And after that, AI agent should say, we love this location name. And then mention details about last call from memory field. So now let's go through a demo call and see what is happening with these prompts. And I already have a first name associated with this phone number. So you will be able to hear the name.
This call will be recorded for quality purposes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there, Jitin Sujala. The current date is 15th of April, 2025.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you.
We love iChat Labs by Demartech. By the way, last time we chatted on April 15th, 2025 at 11:14 a.m. It was a quick call, just 29 seconds. We talked about Superman and your day. How's everything going today?
Everything is going great. Thank you so much for asking.
It's awesome to hear. Got any exciting plans coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to buy Superman costume.
No way. That sounds super fun. Are you planning to wear it for a special occasion or just for the fun of it?
There is a special occasion as well.
Oh, intriguing. What's the occasion?
I'll tell you in the next call. Thank you so much for now. Bye. Okay. So that was my first call, and then you can see that AI followed my instructions. It greeted with my name. Then it told me about the date. Once I replied, it also told this location name, and it also gave me the details about the last call and talked about what happened in the last call. Okay. So some of them were custom values and some of them were custom fields. So if you look at the current time, it's pretty much a custom value, and the location name is also a custom value, but contact name is definitely a custom field, and the memory field which I've created, which is a custom field as well. So now let's see how we can use this memory field in your conversations. So if you have seen one of my previous videos, you probably are aware of automatic sentiment analysis from the summary of the call. This workflow is also pretty similar. So this is the workflow what we are using. So this workflow gets triggered when a note is added, and then we have to make sure that this note is actually added from an AI voice call. So all the AI voice call, if you check, you will see there's a keyword called call summary. So if the note description contains call summary, we know that this is a note added by the AI voice call. So that's what we are using. That's the logic behind this. So if that is true, what we want to do is we want to update a contact field. The field that we are updating is called voice AI memory field, and we are going to update with this value. So first we want to update this field with its own value so that we are not overwriting anything that's already there. So that's why we have the same custom field inside this. And then we are adding the node body of the new node that is coming in. So this would create a layer of all the past call summaries. Then the AI agent has an idea about what is happening in the previous calls. So over time, this memory field will become big, but there are multiple ways to solve that. You could probably use a GPT action here, and then you can summarize the whole memory field and then update the memory field again from this GPT response. So there are so many things you can do, but we are not going into those details now. So now you get an idea how this memory field is getting updated. And that is what feeding the AI agent in here. using this custom field. So using these techniques, you can actually make your AI agent aware of what is happening in the past, and it can also make the conversation so much personal. And remember, we have just used these 4 lines of prompting here. So we don't have a refined prompt here. So the AI agent is just going to tell what is happening in the previous call. You can refine this prompt and actually make it to talk only the relevant points from the past conversation rather than telling you everything about how long the call was and all that. But we are not going into all that details for now. So these are some of the tips and tricks. And now we are going into custom actions. And let's see how you can use custom actions inside GHL. So if you have gone to labs and turned on the custom actions, you will find something like this. If you haven't, so all you have to do is you can go into your labs and then you can find voice AI custom actions. So just toggle this on, and then when you come back and refresh this page, you will find custom actions here. So now let's go into custom actions and see what exactly is custom actions. So here I have 2 custom actions, and I'm going to update my prompt. So here my first custom action is to get a password, and this password could be anything. So this is just to see how this is all working. So that's why we are using this. And my first action is called get password, and this should run when the user tells you a secret password. And then before executing this action, AI agent can say something. So here what we are instructing our AI agent to say is, we are processing your secret key in a minute. And then we are going to send this data to a webhook. And I have created this webhook in make.com. And then the data we need to collect is stored under a key called pass key. You can name it anything that you want. I have given the name pass key. And the value of the pass key would be the secret password as uttered by the user. And this is going to be a string. You can also add integer, float, boolean, phone number, and email. So here I'm just collecting a string. And an example would be abracadabra. This is how you set up a custom action. And now my second custom action is to get a date. So the action name is get date, and this should run whenever the user shares a date. And then before executing this action, the AI will tell, we are processing your date, and we are sending this data to the same webhook URL. And here the key that is going to collect the data is called app data, and the value it is going to collect would be this date format, user given date converted into ISO format like so. And the example is this, and this is also a string. Okay, so now we can click here to test webhook, but before that I can show you how to create a new custom action from scratch. So you click here, new custom action, and give action name. So for example, you want to collect an email address. So let's say email. So let's say capture email. And when should the custom action take place? When the user shares the email address. What to say before executing the action. So the AI would say that we are processing your email, for example. This can be anything. For an easy understanding, I'm just saying what we are doing. And then this is where you set up an endpoint URL. So now we are going into make.com to see how this is happening. Why make.com? Because it's very visual, like you can see the data coming in. So that's the only reason I have selected make.com. You could actually use GHL Incoming webhook. If you're happy to use a premium action, you can use that. So you can pretty much use any platform that gives you a webhook. For example, Public Connect, Zapier, GHL, make.com, N8N, whatever platform you use, you can use that. Now let's head over to make.com and see what is happening there. So now we are in make.com. Just like we have workflows in GHL, in make.com it's called scenarios. So we are in one of the scenarios in make.com. So this is a webhook node. So what you can do is that you can right click and add a new module. So this module can be webhook, whatever you want. So I have selected webhook as the triggering module. If you want to delete something, you can right click and delete that module. So now I have created a webhook module. So if you click on this, it opens up more settings for that module. If you want to add a new webhook module, all you have to do is click on add and then give it a name. So let's say test webhook, and then click save, and then it will give you a webhook address here. All you have to do is copy address to clipboard. So click here to copy that address, and you have a new webhook ready for you. So this is the address that we will be using inside our custom action. So if you go back to custom actions, we can paste that in here, and sometimes it has an HTTPS already, so just remove that. So now we have added our endpoint URL. Now it is asking for a header, but in this case, we don't really need any headers. So what you can do is simply click this X mark, and then header will disappear, because in this case, we are not requiring any authentication or header data. So we don't need in header. So let's get into this variables. So the variable name is going to be something like email address or something like that. You can add anything that you like. And now what to collect from this conversation. So what we need to collect is the email address. Let's say the email address as uttered by the user. And then this is also going to be a string, and then example would be name at example.com. So this is done. And now what we can do is that we can run this webhook. You can test this webhook. So just make sure that you have saved everything in here. Click save, come back to make.com and click save. This webhook is now ready to accept data. So there are a couple of things you can do. You can right click and run this module only. You can do that, or else you can save this and then you can go back, and then this is now ready to accept data. So let's just say, so let's just go inside in the edit mode, and then we can click run this module only, and then this, now you can see this is like buffering. So it is actually waiting for the data to come in. So let's go back and click test webhook. So here you can see this is the variable name that we given, and we need to add and send a data. So let's just send name at example.com and click on initialize action. So this is gone. Now if you come back here, you can see there's a bubble and there's a number 1 in here. So it means that there's a new data has arrived. And then if you click here, you can see the data that we receive is called email ad, and the value for that data is the one example data that we sent across. So this is how it works. So now what we have to do is that everything is working fine. So we can click save. So I'm just going to copy this new webhook and click save. So this is all you need to do to set up a custom action. Just mention what is the action that you need, when to run this, and what to collect, and then where to send it. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to update this action with the current webhook. So that is done. So I don't really need test webhook, but otherwise you can't save it. If you go back here, this wouldn't have captured it because it was not running. So what we need to do is that we can go back and save changes. And on the right hand side, there is a history. So if you click on this history, it will take you to the latest data. If you click here, you can see the passkey has also been received. So you can see I'm using the same webhook to receive multiple data. So you can do this way, or you can create multiple webhook scenarios for multiple data to receive. So now I need to save this, and I need to update the get date as well. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get a date and then convert that into ISO format and send that to the same webhook. So let's do that. And I have given my example. I'm storing the value into apt date. And this is also a string. You can also collect a number or a floating number or a Boolean, which means yes or no, or true or false, phone number, and email. So just let me test this as well. This is the example that is going to send and initialize and save. So now I have 3 custom actions set in here. Now I have to make sure that I have relevant prompt as well, so that my agent knows what to do when such scenarios happen. So I already have a prompt here, which is written So I'm going to paste that in. So in this prompt, what I'm going to do is that the primary task is to gather a date uttered by the user and convert that into this output format, which is an ISO format. And I also am telling the current date is this, because if someone is going to say that tomorrow or something, it is going to convert that into a date. So that's why current date is important. So current date is this in this format, and the current time is this and in AM PM format. Now, once the user shares the time, compare it with the current date and time and generate an output in a given format, only generate output in this format and run the relevant tool. So when I say run the relevant tool, it is going to run this custom action. And then the next one is your secondary task is to ask the user for a password. And when you receive the password, run the required tools, which is to collect the password again and say the received data back to the user. I was testing something, but this is not working. So let's check that. And then after getting the date from the user, immediately ask for the password to continue the conversation. Once the date and password is received, tell the user that everything is going to be all right. So this is again another keyword that we putting in here so that we know that AI is following our instructions. All right. So now I have updated my prompt. I also have these 4 lines of prompt. Let's see how it works with the new prompt added to it. Okay. So I'm going to save this agent and I'm going to give a call.
Quality purposes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there, Jeffrey Sujala. The current date is the 15th of April, 2025. How's it going?
It's going great.
Here. We love iChat Labs by Demartech. By the way, during our last call on April 15th, we had a quick chat about Superman and your day. So do you have a date in mind for our next chat?
Not really.
No worries. Whenever you're ready to set a date, just let me know. In the meantime, is there anything else you'd like to chat about?
Okay. So how about like day after tomorrow as a date?
Great. So day after tomorrow would be April 17th. What time are you thinking?
3 p.m.
Now, could you share the password with me to continue? All right, we've got that date set for April 17th at 3 p.m. Now, could you share the password with me to continue?
Sure. The password is Batman.
Everything is going to be all right. Anything else you'd like to chat about?
No, I think that's all for now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a fantastic day, and we'll chat again soon. Take care.
Yeah. Bye. So you can see my agent has followed through all the instructions. Now what we have to do is that we have to head over to Make and see if we have received our details. So you can see there is a tool run here. So let's see what is that. So here the last one we received is the passkey Batman. Yes, we have received that data. Now let's go back to this one, the one before. And this date is 17th 15, which 3 p.m. Yep, day after tomorrow 3 p.m. we have captured that as well. So you can see how this is working. I'll give one more call and I'll show you how this data is coming through in real time.
Will be recorded for quality purposes.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hey there, Jupin Sujala. The current date is the 15th of April, 2025. We love iChat Labs by Demartech. Last time we chatted, it was a quick call on April 15th at 11:14 a.m. for 29 seconds. We talked about Superman and your day. So what's up today?
Okay, so nothing much. That's all.
Got it. Got it. If you have a date or password to share, just let me know. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah, how about tomorrow at 5 p.m.?
Now, could you please share the password with me?
What password are you talking about?
Yeah, I just need the secret password to continue. Could you share it with me?
Okay, so this is going to be, I have to think about a password. It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
It can be. Whenever you're ready with the password, just let me know.
My password is GHL.
Everything is going to be all right. Anything else you'd like to chat about?
No, that's all.
All right, take care and have a great day.
Yeah, bye. Thank you. So you can see the real time, when the tool is running, you can see that in real time. That's why I selected make.com. But you can do the same thing with any other platform that offers you webhook. So this is how you can use custom actions. You can set up a custom action simply by setting the action name, and then when you want to run this action, and then what data we need to collect, and what should the AI say during that time, and then more importantly, we need to select and we need to add an endpoint URL. So what this custom action is doing here is that we are taking this information, the data from this AI agent, and sending to an external platform such as make.com. So here what you can do when you get back to make.com, you can add another module. So for example, you can add a ChatGPT module, and you can process the data that is coming from our AI agent and then send it to other platforms. So for example, you're working with Service Titan, you can select Service Titan here, and then you can book an appointment from the date that is coming from this voice AI agent. And another example would be if you're in the wellness sector and you're using MindBody, for example, you can select MindBody from here and then send the data that is coming from this voice AI agent to MindBody live during the call itself. So this is why the custom action is important, and this is how you can use the custom action to connect third-party platforms. So now coming back to this memory field, I think there needs to be a little bit of tweak to this. So what I'm feeling is that instead of contact memory field in the beginning, I should have that after, so that it gets the latest value on top, and then the AI agent can read through that. Because earlier the AI agent was still talking about the previous call because that's the data on top. So that was reading the first one. But a better option would be to add a GPT action here and use memory field again. So let's say, please summarize the data here, and then we give that. And when we get the summary, what we're going to do is that we're going to update the same thing again. So you copy the same step here and you update, but not with this value, but with GPT response. Now this GPT action would summarize all the past notes into one response and will send to this memory field. So it will be easier for AI agent to understand the whole situation in one go. So that's the only change I would make. And everything else I believe is clear to you. You can use any of the contact fields inside your prompt, and you can also set up custom actions and send that data to a third-party platform. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you and bye.